What's up, YouTube? This is GalacticGod. I'm coming at you now with another one of my Yu-Gi-Oh! Top 5s. Now, recently, Konami has announced what the new YCS prize card is going to be, and I thought this would be a good time to go ahead and look back at all the different prize cards that have been released for Yu-Gi-Oh! Across all the different eras, and give you guys my personal favorite top 5 prize cards that have been released. So coming in at the number 5 spot is the quick play spell card, Shrink. Now this card should come as no surprise to anyone familiar with the original Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime series. I mean, who didn't love watching Kaiba use Shrink on his Vorse Raider to bring his monster down low enough to activate his Crush Card virus? Of course, those of us who actually played the TCG recognize the power of this card beyond that, as it could be used both defensively and offensively to disrupt your opponent's plays. This card was so sought after during its time. Unfortunately, many of us were saddened to learn when it was going to be released as a Shonen Jump prize card, as that meant there was going to be very few copies of this card at the disposal of the player base. Fortunately, this prize card became one of the quickest to get a reprint, as it soon saw itself as a super rare in a 3-pack special edition. Shrink will forever be known as not only a great card used by Kaiba himself, but also one that the player base was greatly anticipating. Coming at the number 4 spot is Stein. Having the distinction of being the very first Shonen Jump prize card to be awarded to duelists, and again, a card that Kaiba was very famous for using, adding the fact that you can OTK your opponent with this card, definitely made Stein a force to be reckoned with, and a card that many duelists wanted a reprint of. So a lot of players were very happy when the card was finally reprinted as a rare. Unfortunately, that joy quickly turned to disdain as the Stein OTK soon overwhelmed the format. This, of course, led to one of the few instances when Konami emergency banned a card halfway through a format, leading very few of today's players to ever actually use Stein in a real duel. Will Konami ever release Stein from the TCG Forbidden list? That remains to be seen. Coming in at the number 3 spot is arguably one of the best searching cards in the game. I'm talking about Gold Sarcophagus. Originally, when this card first came out, the meta was at a much slower pace, so being able to wait 2 turns to actually get your card was not such a bad thing. And although Gold Sarcophagus did see a revitalization in play during the Dragon Ruler format, as many duelists used it within that archetype, it has since really been able to find a foothold in any kind of new deck. Now, does that necessarily mean that we've seen the last of Gold Sarcophagus in any kind of competitive play? I highly doubt it. I'm sure down the line Konami will once again release us an archetype that can really utilize the effect of Gold Sark, or perhaps a duelist might come up with a new combo that could really use the effect to its full advantage, and during that time, we will once again see the power of Gold Sarcophagus. Coming in at the number 2 spot is number 106, Giant Hand. Now this card holds the distinction of being the only card on my list that is yet to be reprinted to the player base, and I know there's many duelists out there who have been clamoring to get their hands on a copy of this card. With this monster's ability to negate effects, I mean, who wouldn't want this generic rank 4 card at their disposal? Coming in the number 1 spot is another iconic card that Kaiba used. I'm talking about Crush Card Virus. The effect of this trap card within the anime was so powerful that many duelists believed that we would never see a playable version of it over here in the TCG. When it was finally announced to be a Shonen Jump prize card, many duelists jumped for joy. When the card was finally reprinted to us in the original Gold series, the secondary market for the card quickly skyrocketed as duelists tried to get copies of it. Fortunately, those duelists that actually were able to obtain copies of the card were heartbroken to find out it quickly found its way to the Forbidden list. And there it sat until recently when the card was errated. But I'll never forget the time Crush Card was first used on me in an actual duel. I was so surprised to be dueling anyone that actually owned the ultra rare Shonen Jump card that I didn't even mind that I was about to lose the duel. Alright YouTube, and there you have it. Those were my top 5 personal favorite prize cards that have been released throughout all the different eras of Yu-Gi-Oh! Now of course, they may differ from the ones that you would have picked, so I encourage you to let me know what your top 5 would be down in the comments section below. And I guess that's going to do it for now. This is GalacticGod, out.